Ladies and gentlemen, what you don't know about money could be the very reason it stays out of your hands. Most people go through life chasing it, working for it, struggling to hold on to it, and still never feel secure. That's because they've been taught to see money as something outside of themselves, something separate, scarce, and hard to get. But what they don't realize is that money is not just paper, coins, or digits in a bank account. Money is energy. It is the physical reflection of invisible forces. It responds not to desperation, to alignment, not to luck, but to awareness. When you begin to understand this truth, truly feel it in your body, in your beliefs, your entire relationship with money begins to transform. Money is energy. Let that sink in. Just like everything else in the universe, money holds a frequency. It flows to those who are aligned with its vibration. That's why two people with the same job, same degree, same opportunities, can live entirely different financial realities. One may be drowning in debt, the other building wealth effortlessly. The difference lies not in how much they do, but in what they believe and how they feel about money. Most people are subconsciously repelling wealth while claiming to want it. They feel fear, guilt, shame, unworthiness, and money simply reflects that energy back to them. The truth is, money flows where it feels welcome. It's attracted to clarity, confidence, and gratitude. It avoids fear, scarcity, and confusion. You may think that working harder will solve your money problems, but if you're carrying energy of desperation, money will still feel far away. It's not about how much effort you put in, it's about the energy behind that effort. When you approach money with anxiety, the frequency of your actions signals lack, not abundance. But when you act from certainty, from purpose, from the knowing that you are valuable and capable, money becomes a natural byproduct of who you are, not something you have to chase. Think of people who seem to effortlessly attract wealth. It's not always because they're smarter or luckier. It's often because they've developed an internal state that resonates with prosperity. They trust money. They believe in their worth. They expect abundance. And because energy is magnetic, their outer world simply mirrors their inner truth. You can't fake this vibration. It must be embodied. You can't just say you believe you deserve money while secretly fearing you'll never have enough. The universe responds to your dominant energy, not your words. This is why the foundation of financial transformation is inner work. Before you learn how to invest, save, or scale, you must learn how to feel safe with money. You must uncover the beliefs you picked up, often as a child, that told you money is hard to get, or that rich people are greedy, or that success means sacrifice. These are not universal truths. They are programmed thoughts. And as long as they live within you, they will quietly sabotage your progress. Money doesn't respond to begging. It responds to boldness. It comes to those who move with intention, not hesitation. When you truly grasp that money is energy, you begin to take different kinds of actions. You start investing in yourself, not because you're desperate, because you value your growth. You begin to speak and move like someone who trusts life, and money notices that. It shows up for people who show up for themselves. It also means you stop putting money on a pedestal. You stop seeing it as the ultimate goal and start treating it as a tool. Because if money is just energy, then it's neither good nor bad. It's neutral. What matters is the meaning you assign to it and the purpose you use it for. When you connect money to a mission, when you use it to serve, create, heal, or empower, it flows even more freely. Energy loves movement. Stagnant money becomes fearful money, but money that circulates with purpose becomes magnetic. So if you want to attract more money, start by shifting your frequency. Start by changing how you speak about money, how you think about it, and how you feel when you interact with it. Every dollar you receive is an extension of trust. Every dollar you spend is an opportunity to affirm abundance. Train your nervous system to feel safe holding more. Practice gratitude not just for what you have, but for what's coming. Step into the version of you who already lives in financial flow, not one day, but today. That's when you become a match for the energy of money. Because once you realize money is energy, you stop chasing it and start attracting it. What most people don't realize is that their financial reality isn't shaped by the economy, by their job, or even by how hard they work. It's shaped by what they believe deep down about money and themselves. You could be the most dedicated person in the room, showing up every single day, doing the work, pushing through, and still feel like money slips through your fingers. Why? Because your subconscious mind is the gatekeeper. It holds the programming you received long before you even had a say in what you believe. And if those beliefs are rooted in scarcity, fear, guilt, or unworthiness, no amount of hustle can override that energetic truth. From the time we're young, we're absorbing messages about money from the world around us, from our parents, from society, from what we overhear, what we observe, what we feel. Maybe you heard money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, or rich people are greedy. Maybe you felt tension in your home whenever money was discussed, or perhaps you saw your caregivers work endlessly, struggle quietly, and still never feel free. All of that becomes part of your internal blueprint, a silent set of instructions you begin to follow without even knowing it. And so even as an adult, you might find yourself stuck in patterns that feel invisible but are deeply rooted. You might self-sabotage just when things start going well. You might undercharge for your skills, avoid investing in yourself, or feel uncomfortable receiving more than what you're used to. That's not a reflection of your capability. It's a reflection of your conditioning. You're not broken. You're just running on old software. And the good news is that software can be rewritten. To shift your financial reality, you have to bring your inner world into alignment with abundance, not just in theory, but in feeling. You have to confront the beliefs that whisper, you don't deserve this, you're not smart with money, or people like you don't get rich. You have to question the identity you've built around surviving, struggling, or being the one who always has to sacrifice. Because identity creates reality. If you see yourself as someone who always just gets by, your actions, even unconsciously, will support that version of you. If you believe deep down that having too much money is unsafe or selfish, your subconscious will make sure you never hold on to it for long. This is why mindset work is not just a nice idea. It's the foundation of financial growth. True wealth doesn't start in the bank account. It starts in the subconscious. That's where the real blocks live. And that's also where the breakthroughs begin. When you start to bring awareness to your money beliefs, you take your power back. You begin to notice when you're operating from fear. You begin to pause before repeating the same cycles. And slowly, you rewire your relationship with money from the inside out. Changing these beliefs isn't about pretending everything is perfect or repeating empty affirmations. It's about going deep. It's about asking, where did I learn this belief? Whose voice is this? And do I still want to carry it? It's about replacing survival-based thinking with thoughts that support expansion, trust, and self-worth. It's about learning to feel safe, having more, receiving more, being more. Because here's the truth, your financial ceiling isn't set by your job title or your education. It's set by your subconscious beliefs. You will only allow yourself to earn, receive, or hold on to the amount of money that matches your internal sense of worth and possibility. Raise that standard and everything changes. Your choices change, your boundaries change. The way you show up in the world changes. And so does your bank balance. It's not just about changing your thoughts. It's about changing the emotional charge behind those thoughts. If you've spent your life feeling unworthy, powerless, or anxious around money, your body has been conditioned to live in that state. So healing your money story means retraining your nervous system to feel calm, powerful, and open in the presence of wealth. That's the level most people never reach, but that's the level where transformation lives. You deserve to break free from inherited scarcity. You deserve to rewrite your story. And the first step is seeing your subconscious not as the enemy, but as a powerful ally, one that's waiting to be reprogrammed. Because when your inner beliefs align with abundance, outer world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. One of the most misunderstood truths about money is the idea that hard work alone creates wealth. For generations, we've been told to work harder, stay longer, hustle more, and yet so many people who do just that are still stuck in cycles of financial stress. They wake up early, grind all day, and go to bed exhausted only to repeat the pattern. Here's what most people don't know about money. Money follows value, not effort. That means your income is not a direct reflection of how hard you work, but of how much value you bring into the world and how well that value is positioned and received. You can be the hardest worker in the room and still struggle if what you're doing isn't connected to real value in the eyes of the marketplace. And on the flip side, you might see someone else who works fewer hours, seems more relaxed, and yet they earn 10 times more. This isn't unfairness, it's alignment. It's a difference in understanding how money flows. Money doesn't respond to effort alone. It responds to leverage, creativity, problem solving, and the ability to solve meaningful problems for others. Think about this, a janitor may work harder physically than a software developer. Society places a higher market value on tech solutions than on cleaning floors. That's not a judgment of worth as a human being. It's a reflection of the way money moves based on perceived value. When you understand this, you stop glorifying hard work for the sake of it, and instead you start asking smarter questions. What problems can I solve? How can I serve more people? What knowledge or skill do I have that others need? The people who attract the most money often solve the biggest problems, or they solve smaller problems, but at scale. They've learned how to package their knowledge, automate their efforts, or serve many at once. That's why they grow faster financially. Not because they're better, because they've shifted from working hard to working with intention. They've chosen to build systems instead of staying stuck in cycles. And that's the shift available to you too. You see, working harder keeps you in the loop of trading time for money, and time is limited, but value can be limitless. Once you start thinking in terms of value, everything changes. You begin to notice what people are willing to pay for. You begin to tap into your unique gifts and position them in ways that benefit others. And the moment you stop measuring your worth by how many hours you put in, you free yourself from the lie that struggle equals success. Now, this doesn't mean effort isn't important. Action is essential, but it's not just about effort. It's about effective effort. There are people who grind for 12 hours a day doing tasks that generate little income. And there are others who spend 2 hours solving a major problem and create exponential return. The difference isn't work ethic, it's direction, it's awareness. It's choosing to operate in your zone of genius instead of staying in your zone of comfort. So if you're feeling stuck, it might not be because you're not doing enough. It might be because what you're doing isn't aligned with what creates true value. Ask yourself, am I solving a real problem? Am I offering something that improves someone's life, saves them time, makes them money, or relieves their pain? That's what people pay for. That's what money responds to. And here's the key. The more people you help, the more money you attract. That's why scaling your value through content, through offers, through service is how wealth begins to multiply. You're not meant to just survive off of sweat and sacrifice. You're meant to grow, to create, to contribute, and be abundantly supported for doing so. You can break free from the myth that struggle is noble and exhaustion is the price of success. You can learn to shift from how can I work more to how can I create more value in less time. That mindset doesn't make you lazy. It makes you powerful. It gives you freedom, because true wealth isn't built on exhaustion. It's built on alignment. Once you realize that money follows value, not just effort, you begin to move smarter, think bigger, and earn with purpose instead of pressure. There's something no one teaches you in school, yet it affects every decision you make in adulthood, how money actually works. You can earn a high salary, work a prestigious job, or even run a business and still feel financially lost if you lack financial literacy. Because what most people don't know is this income does not equal wealth. Earning more money doesn't automatically lead to financial freedom. True wealth requires understanding. It requires strategy. It requires you to become financially literate. Financial literacy isn't just about saving money or cutting back on coffee. It's about learning the language of money, how it moves, how it grows, and how it works for you rather than against you. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, not because they don't make enough, but because they don't know how to manage what they have. And that's not a flaw. It's a gap in education. Taught how to memorize facts and pass exams, but rarely how to budget, invest, or understand compound interest. So we enter the real world and learn the hard way through debt, overdraft fees, missed opportunities, and financial anxiety. This is why you'll see people earning 6 figures, yet drowning in credit card debt, while others earning far less build wealth quietly through smart decisions. Because it's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep, how well you manage it, and where you place it. Financial literacy empowers you to make choices that compound over time. It teaches you to plan for the future instead of reacting to the moment. It puts you in control of your money instead of letting your money control you. When you become financially literate, stop chasing more and start maximizing what you already have. You begin to make decisions that your future self will thank you for. You understand the difference between assets and liabilities. You recognize the traps of emotional spending. You learn how to use debt strategically instead of being crushed by it. And most importantly, you stop living in fear of money, because now you know how to talk to it and how to listen. It's also about knowing the power of investing. So many people avoid investing because it feels complex or risky. But in reality, not investing is the greater risk. When your money just sits, it loses value due to inflation. But when you learn how to grow it, even slowly, you build a foundation that supports you long term. You're no longer dependent on one stream of income, one paycheck, or one job. You create options, you create freedom. Financial literacy also helps you navigate life's unexpected turns. Emergencies don't ask for permission. Layoffs don't wait for you to be ready. But when you have the knowledge to build savings, create a budget, and protect yourself financially. Face challenges with resilience instead of panic. You become proactive instead of reactive. And that's a powerful shift. And let's not forget taxes, something so many avoid or fear. You understand how taxes work. You stop overpaying and start using the system in your favor. Wealthy individuals and business owners don't fear taxes. They learn how to legally and wisely navigate them. They work with the system instead of against it. And that knowledge keeps more money in their hands, money they can reinvest, grow, and use to create even more impact. The truth is, no one is coming to save you financially. You are your own financial plan. And the sooner you accept that responsibility, the faster you take back your power. You don't need to know everything at once. You just need to be willing to learn. Start where you are. Read the books. Take the courses. Ask questions. Talk about money without shame. Every small step you take in building financial literacy is a step toward a future where money supports your vision, not limits it. You have the ability to master this area of your life. And when you do, everything opens up. You make better choices. You create better outcomes. You model a new reality for the next generation. Because knowledge isn't just power, it's freedom. And financial freedom begins with financial understanding. There's a lesson many people learn too late. Time is far more valuable than money. Money can be lost and earned again, but time only moves forward. Every second spent is a second you never get back. And yet, most people are conditioned to trade the most precious resource they have, their time, in exchange for money, often in ways that leave them feeling depleted, stuck, or unfulfilled. What they don't realize is that wealthy people see this equation differently. They don't ask, how can I make more money with my time? They ask, how can I use money to buy back my time? This is one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your relationship with money. Understanding that real wealth isn't just about having more, it's about having more freedom, the ability to wake up and choose how you spend your day, the ability to focus on what you love, what matters, and what fulfills you, instead of constantly being tied to what pays you. That freedom begins when you learn to buy time instead of always selling it. But here's the thing. Most people are taught the opposite. From a young age, we're taught that to succeed, we must grind longer, work harder, sacrifice more hours, and wear business like a badge of honor. Productivity becomes an identity, burnout becomes normal, and we start to associate success with exhaustion. But true success is measured not by how tired you are at the end of the day, but by how aligned your life feels, how much time you've spent doing what you care about with the people you love in places that inspire you. That kind of life doesn't come from blindly working harder. It comes from working smarter. It comes from building systems, not just habits, from creating assets, not just income. It comes from shifting your thinking from how much can I earn per hour to how can I earn regardless of the hour. This is why financial literacy and value creation are so important. They allow you to build something that doesn't require your constant presence. Whether it's a digital product, a rental property, a scalable service, or a strategic investment, when you build something that pays you beyond your time, you're buying back your life. No longer have to show up every hour to earn. That's when money becomes a servant, not a master. The wealthy don't see money as the goal. They see it as a tool. And one of its most powerful uses is buying time, time to think, time to rest, time to create, time to enjoy the life they're building. And when you begin to understand this, start to look at every decision differently. You stop saying yes to every task just because it earns you money. You begin asking, is this the best use of my energy? Could someone else do this better or faster than me? Could I delegate, automate, or eliminate this task altogether? This isn't about avoiding responsibility. It's about creating space for higher level decisions, for deeper impact, for alignment with your purpose. Because if you're always stuck in the weeds, trading your time for tasks that drain you, you never get the chance to expand your vision. And that's what money is meant to support: your expansion, your evolution, your freedom. Buying back your time also means protecting your energy. It means creating boundaries, saying no without guilt, designing a life where you're not constantly reacting to demands. It means valuing rest, not as a reward after burnout, but as a vital part of your productivity. Because when your mind is clear, your decisions are sharper. When your body is rested, your work is more impactful. When your time is yours, your life becomes yours again. Shift from trading time for money to using money to create time is not just for the elite. It starts with small decisions. Outsourcing a task so you can focus on your core work. Automating a system so you can be more present, saying no to low-value opportunities so you can say yes to meaningful ones. Every step you take toward reclaiming your time is a step toward building a life of choice, not just survival. Because in the end, it's not just about having more money. It's about having the time to live the life that money was supposed to support. One of the most overlooked truths about money is how deeply your environment influences your financial destiny. Not just the physical environment you live in, but also the mental, emotional, and social spaces you exist within every single day. People think that improving their income is just about learning skills, getting better opportunities, or making smarter decisions. And yes, those things matter. But none of them will take root if your environment is constantly pulling you back into patterns of scarcity, self-doubt, or limitation. Because what surrounds you eventually shapes you. If you're surrounded by people who speak fear around money, you start to absorb that fear even without realizing it. If your conversations are always about struggle, about how things are getting worse, about how money is evil or only for the lucky, those words begin to echo in your subconscious. They build beliefs. Those beliefs build behaviors. And before you know it, you're playing small, second-guessing yourself, and unconsciously holding yourself back because you've been conditioned by the energy around you. That's why changing your financial life often requires changing more than just your habits. It requires changing your atmosphere. Because growth can't flourish in soil that suffocates it. You can read all the books, listen to every podcast, and repeat the affirmations, but if the people closest to you dismiss your dreams, criticize your efforts, or feed your fears, progress will always feel like a fight against gravity. The energy of your environment either lifts you or limits you. And this goes beyond people. It includes the content you consume, the spaces you spend time in, and even the expectations you've internalized from your culture or community. If you're always watching media that glorifies drama and chaos, it subtly shapes your idea of what's normal. If you're surrounded by peers who mock ambition or settle for survival, it becomes harder to believe that wealth is possible for you. When you begin to surround yourself with possibility through people, content, spaces, and energy, something shifts. Your mind opens. Your standards rise. Your actions follow. That's the real power of environment. It normalizes what once felt impossible. It makes expansion feel safe. When you're around people who talk about building assets, setting boundaries, and investing with purpose, it stops feeling like a foreign language. It becomes part of your daily rhythm. You start to see that wealth isn't just about money. It's about alignment, mindset, and intentional design. And you start to ask better questions. Instead of, can I afford this? You begin to ask, how can I create this? That shift changes everything. This is why proximity matters. Who you're around matters. Because whether you realize it or not, your identity is being shaped in every interaction. If you want to rise financially, start putting yourself in rooms, physically or digitally, where growth is the standard, not the exception. Follow creators who elevate your thinking. Spend time with people who challenge you to be better. Watch how they speak, how they move, how they manage their time, their energy, their money. Success leaves clues, but you have to be close enough to see them. Creating a powerful environment also means becoming intentional about the energy you allow in your space. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Protect your peace. Protect your focus, because distractions may feel harmless in the moment, but over time, they cost you momentum. And in a world that constantly tries to pull you into urgency, fear, or noise, creating a calm, focused environment is a radical act of wealth building. You can't change everything overnight, but you can begin with small shifts. Start with what you consume daily. Create your inputs. Limit conversations that drain you. Expand the ones that inspire you. Make your home, your desk, your phone, your digital space all reflections of where you want to go, not where you've been stuck. Let your environment work for you, not against you. Because when you align your surroundings with your goals, you no longer have to fight for every inch of progress. The wind begins to move behind your back. The journey becomes more natural. You begin to think, act, and feel like the future version of you, not one day, but now. And that's when money starts flowing in ways that match your new reality.